Hello, my friends. It's Mike Mitchell from the Floyd Music School. Mr. Mike, if you're one of my students here at Floyd Music School. And welcome back to another Monday music lesson with citizens. This is a really important lesson. I'm going to teach you your first warm-up exercise. It's called the seesaw exercise. And this is it's the cornerstone of how I teach fiddle, guitar, mandolin, banjo. I suppose if I were to teach a viola or a cello lesson, it'd be the same thing. Bass. It works 6 fundamental points with your technique, and more importantly, it starts to build really good myelin over the neural pathways. I know that sounds awfully fancy, but it does. It builds really good myelin over the neural pathways in your brain that help you play without having to stop and think about it all the time. It's kind of like learning a new language. We want to go from slowly pronouncing each word one at a time to being able to speak in whole sentences, right? And in order to do that, we do it repetitively and slowly. So this is the seesaw. We're going to be building on our last lesson. Of course, keeping in mind all of our fundamentals, not breaking the line, etc., etc. Don't worry, I'm not going to bug you too much about that today. We're going to go up and down on each string, but we're going to start doing it on a pair of strings. So it's going to be like this: down on G, up on D. And notice I'm stopping my bow stroke at the end of each stroke. So I'm in charge. I'm not just moving it across the string and hoping things work out. It's not a fishing trip or a hunting party. I'm not fishing around and hoping I get somewhere. I'm really deliberate about what I'm doing with this bow. So metronome, of course. Gotta have it. Keeps us honest. We're going to do 2 beats for each note. I will call, well, at least for the first pair of strings, the G and D string pair, I will call out the finger numbers while we play. You ready? Awesome. Here we go, my friends. 1, 2, ready, and G, D, G, D, G1 now. G2 now. G3 now. G2 now. G1. Don't change your bowing arm. Hop it over. D1 now. There you go. D2 now. D3. D2, my friends. D1 now. Outstanding! I'm going to take just a minute to check my tuning. I'm going to pause my metronome. My tuner's on there as well. The boy is good. When I was a boy and I learned how to play and tune my violin, I used a tuning fork. Ba, and it rang out to A. And we learned how to tune our other open strings in relation to A. And that'll be a whole lesson into itself. Something I still do, because I think it's a great skill, a great fundamental skill to possess, and not to be completely reliant on the tuner. So I have a trick question for you. If the fiddle has 4 strings on it, some fiddles have 5. And I could talk all day long about that. This one has 4. How many pairs of strings are on the 4-string fiddle? How many pairs? And if we define a pair as 2 like things that are, say, side by side, pair of socks, pair of gloves, right? 2 like things that are side by side. How many pair of strings are on the fiddle? Did you say 2? Or did you say 3? G and D, D and A and E. That's right, 3. I told you it was a trick question. Don't feel bad. People kind of fall 50-50 on answering that because we have to look a little bit, deeper than just G and D, A and E. So now we're going to do the middle pair of strings, the D string and A string, which means, yes, we're going to be walking our fingers up the D and back down again, because the D string belongs to the G-D pair and the D-A pair. Now, before we do that, I want to address something, my friends. Many people assume that somehow you've got to get your digit on the D string and not touch the A string, which you do, but also not touch the G. So think about this. When we're envisioning these pairs of strings, if we're playing on the D and A string, you can put as much finger, I call it, meat. You can put as much fingertip as you need to over onto the G string because it's redundant. It's, you're not going to be playing that string. That string doesn't have to remain clear to be wrung out for any reason. So when we're on D and A pair, and we've got to keep the A open, but we want to, of course, follow the rule of thumb, don't lift a finger, just lean it over onto the G string. So you can put most of the fingertip actually can go onto the G string because it's not needed. We won't be playing the G string. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you can start the seesaw exercise. If you find it really problematic to leave your fingers down, you can start the seesaw exercise by placing the finger down and lifting up as needed. I'll demonstrate. But that doesn't follow the rule of thumb. That's actually breaking the rule of thumb of don't lift a finger. But if it helps you get started, if it helps you play along with me, go for it. Just know that you're going to have to take the training wheels off at some time and finagle that fingertip down very precisely. And yeah, lean as much over onto the G string as you need to. And conversely, when you're on the A string, lean as much of it over onto the E so that you could keep the D string clear. That's all we need to do. All right, the D and A string pairs. 1, 2, you know what to do, and D1 now, D2 now, D3 now, First. Now hop it over, open D, A1. Nice. Second finger. Third finger. And the second. First finger. Open A string. Outstanding! My fiddling friends, you guys are doing fantastic. Wonderful. Just going to double check the tuning just a little bit. All right. It is a wooden box. My teacher at Youngstown State University, his name was John Wilcox. He blew my mind when I was a freshman and I brought my violin into his studio for my first lesson at Youngstown State. He said, "Your violin is a living, breathing thing." And I was like, what the heck are you talking about? It's a wooden box, and it's an old one, and it's glued together. But he explained to me that as it takes on moisture, just like, the door that won't shut in the winter and won't stay shut in the summer. It takes on moisture and expands, and then of course it expels moisture, and it actually decreases. So on a dry, cold, wintry day, this thing has less volume than it would on a humid summer day. And the wood shrinks a little bit and the pegs don't hold nearly as tight. So tuning, I can't recommend it enough. Tune often, and humidifying your instrument is really good in the dry winter months. We'll have a lesson one of these weeks completely dedicated to that. Let's go to the E and A string pair. Now, I just want to remind you all, when you hit the E string, don't break the line. Don't do it, my friends. It's a slippery slope. We might as well start off right and good. Pull the elbow in to access the E string with the fingertips. A and E. 1, 2, ready, and... A1 now. A2 now. Third finger. Second finger. And the first finger. Open A string, E1 now. E2 now. Swing the elbow. Good. E3 now. And back down 2. First. Wonderful. Let's do all three pairs. Let's close this lesson by doing all three pairs without stopping. I'm moving the metronome up to 66. This is your beginner level 3-fingered seesaw from start to finish. 1, 2, ready, and... First finger, second finger, third finger, second, and the first now. Open G string, D1 now. Second finger, third finger, and the second, first finger. Now pay attention and follow me. G, D, A0, D, A, D1 now. Fantastic. D2 now. D3. Second. First finger. Open D string, A1 now. Second finger. Third. Second finger. First finger. Open A, open E string. A, E, A1 now. A2 now. Third. Second finger. First finger. Now hop it over to the E. Don't break the line with your wrist. Second finger. Third finger. And the second. First. Open. Outstanding. That is the seesaw exercise. Learn it, know it, play it every time you pick up your fiddle. This should be your time, your warm-up, your fiddling calisthenics. It's really going to help you play very well. And as always, as soon as it gets frustrating, put it down, but put it down somewhere close to you. Think about it while you go about your day and pick it back up quickly.